Hi there, and welcome to my next video on my YouTube channel, Unapologetic with Lorelei. Um, it's significantly colder. It's really towards the end of the autumn, but it's still nice and fresh out here. And I hope to give you a nice view of the area where I am today. And my topic for today was something that I recently discovered, and I still discovered for myself actually, how you can live your body and your life still in crisis, even though there is no crisis anymore. It's like you're living in a crisis and you don't realize it anymore because it became your routine. Dealing with crises became such a norm, and until it really hit me, and I said, "Well, what am I doing? Actually, I'm far beyond the crisis, and I'm still living as though I am in it." In certain situations, I try to move fast or decide quickly, or I sense danger or potential threats coming at me, or coming at me, or in the area soon where I'm about to leave or to go or whatever. Anyhow, the threat, the uncomfortable feeling that something's wrong. It's such an alert, and even in my skin crawls then at that time. But it's a lot that your mind does actually, because I'm such in a defensive mode, or in a ready to fight or flight mode, and it's not necessary anymore if you really think about it. Perhaps it is, but for me it's the case. If it's not anymore, then I shouldn't be responding anymore like that, and we shouldn't live our lives as though we are still in crisis. But it's hard. You have to realize it first that you are doing that, because it became such a norm and you just don't even realize it. And I don't know if it resonates to you or to anybody that you know, or if you're still going through something like this. It's all possible. And I'm going to do my walk and talk like I always do in my videos. So I will be flipping the screen and talk with you more about it. And whilst I'll be showing you around in the area where I walk at this particular moment. I hope you like the area. I hope you like my talk. I'm going to flip the screen and I see you on the other side. Okay, here we go. Let's walk, and I'll do the talking. And you can always reply, of course, if that's what you want to do. And I'll be certainly will read it and reply to it. But first, I'm going to go through this gate here, because this area of the national of a nature reserve rather is protected, because there are some cows here and some other animals, and they don't want them to get out. So I'm going to try to open the gate here without getting too much electricity electricity, and I'll have to be careful here. Right, so I'm gonna close it again, and here I am. So at least those cows will be disappearing or won't walk away. Let me see here. There's a little sign that says these are the ones who are walking around here. I remember my son was walking here recently, and he just walked right through the whole herd, and it made some beautiful, astonishing rather, pictures of them. It was really beautiful. But saying that, I'm still coming back to the topic, of course, of what I just told you about. That, you know, that's that when the crisis of responding like you're still in crisis becomes a rhythm, becomes your normal, and then what happens when the crisis actually ends? When it finally ends, then and your body doesn't seem to get the memo. You're still running around and doing things, and responding, and your body is responding as though you are still in a very much of a crisis. And actually, for years, I have been racing through life, um, not because anything was chasing me anymore, but because my nervous system was still ringing alarm bells a lot for every kind of situation, or that I went through, or what I heard about, or sometimes it could even be on TV. It was just my body would respond to it, and I didn't realize it at first. I just thought like, well, this is who I have become, and I'm just a person who's always alert, and always ready, and always switched on. But one day, actually, my own kind of routine in this, it kind of hit me, and not a big dramatic moment. It wasn't that, but just a kind of normal morning, an ordinary morning, and the kind that is supposed to be nice and quiet and calm. And I noticed I was still scanning the horizon, so to speak, for something to go wrong. I was just expecting things to go wrong, and and I expected say, something to react to or something to manage. Except there was no danger at all. There was no threat. Everything was okay. I just was really all in my mind, and the crisis that I had been living years ago, it was over, and life had pretty much had steadied itself, and I just didn't realize it. I was still in going full speed ahead and defending and achieving and doing all of that, and then I was still actually living as a woman who had just survived or was still surviving, and not the woman who I actually am, and who allowed herself to live and to live how she wanted most of the time, anyhow, most of it. And of course, there is a difference, you know. Survival is sharp and on edge many times, and living is spacious. You know, survival is about shrinking time, I believe, to down to seconds, and living is the opposite. It lets time breathe again. And for the first time, actually, in my life, not in my life, since the crisis has happened, the kind of crisis I'm talking about is a very awkward, nasty divorce, which yeah, I won't go into the detail, but it was not a very pleasant one. But I managed to um, be okay with my children and myself. So everything is growing and blooming. So I should be living according to that as well, except for not being anxious and being on edge all the time. And as I said that morning, it wasn't a spectacular thing that happened. It just dawned to me all of a sudden, and I realized I didn't need the survival version of myself anymore. And why am I doing it? Because I'm sure my children are watching me doing it as well, and it must make them feel restless as well, like something is about to happen, and I shouldn't bring that vibe with me. And yeah, I should thank myself. I thought by myself, I should thank myself and give myself a break, let myself rest a little bit in my head. So I don't know if you can resonate to any of this. And besides, the sun has come out beautifully, and I hope you catch a little bit of the vibe here that I am. It's so beautiful. I come here quite often. It's not far from where I live. I live in the forest, and it's right on the edge of the forest slash heathland, if you can call it like that. And it's so beautiful. It's so peaceful. And well, I'm not seeing the cows, so I'll probably be for another time. But anyhow, I think well, if you feel like you're still moving at the speed of past emergencies, then if your body is still bracing it for the crisis, and and the crisis no longer exists, that means you're not broken, and doesn't mean you're behind. It just means that you're simply catching up with a life that has changed. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. Life has changed, and you can be a little bit more at ease and not be on edge all the time. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying with this, and if you have gone through something like this, or if you know anybody in your surroundings, a loved one who has gone through this or is going through it, because I believe we all have our crises, and can all be a different crisis, of course. And but the result is many times the same. We just stay in the survival mode, in the crisis mode, in the fight or flight mode, and it's such a shame because I mean, some time ago I couldn't be calm and peaceful walking around here. I would be just too restless, and sometimes I mean I must be careful here. It's not here, but I won't go too far all by myself. Some people do hike all by themselves. I don't think I'm brave enough for that, because then I do see some headlines from newspapers in my head. I say, oh, I'm a woman by myself, and well, that's just too far off for me. But it's another thing. That's a potential danger that could happen anywhere, anytime, and it could be in a bus, it could be in a forest, it could be anywhere. So you can't live that fear. You just have to be aware of your surroundings, I believe, where you are. But which is different than the thing I was just talking about still living as though you are in crisis. And it's about not just about slowing down, but it's about coming home to a rhythm for yourself that matches the kind of truth of your life today. And it's a life that's no longer burning. And I believe it's your heart that's allowed to expand again. You have to allow your heart to expand. I believe so. You owe it to yourself. Why not? Why ever not? And you have to build up a kind of routine that doesn't come from far, but it comes from fear. I believe. I'm sorry. By now you must have gathered English is not my mother tongue, and I make some mistakes, some grammar mistakes, some mistakes in perhaps using the wrong word at the wrong time. But overall, I do hope you still catch what I'm saying here. And so, as I said, like as a no longer burden your life, and you allow your heart and to allow yourself to expand again. And as I said, the routine that doesn't come from fear, rather than from choice. And if you manage to do that shift from going to surviving into living, that's where your real evolution begin, and you can really look forward to that. And I can really encourage you to do so, because as peaceful as I show you the area here where I am now, as peaceful as that your life could be, should be. And I'm not saying everybody should live in a forest or near a forest, but wherever you are, this kind of feeling, I believe, this kind of peace should feel, everybody should feel that. Why not? I really hope you do, and you can achieve that. And I'm all for it, to evolve and to become. Really, is that. And by saying that, standing here in the sunshine on this beautiful piece of nature here in the heathland, I do wish you a very nice day. I wish you very well. I hope you take very good care of yourself, very good care actually, and take care of your loved ones, and do it from a kind of peaceful moment to start with, not from anxiety and from past fears that are no longer relevant anymore. So yes, I wish you a very nice day, and I hope to see you next time in my video. You can always subscribe to my channel. You can also give a thumbs up. You can leave a comment, whatever you like or prefer. And if you don't like any of it, that's also fine. But I still hope to see you in my next video. Bye.